Sleep disorder. A psychological issue that disrupts sleep patterns and causes trouble falling asleep, staying asleep, or having a restful sleep. A good example is insomnia, which comes with racing thoughts and nightmares. Sleep disorders can usually lead to mood swings, fatigue, and difficulty concentrating. Eating disorders. A set of psychological disorders that sponsor unhealthy and weird behaviors towards food and body image. Types include anorexia nervosa, bulimia nervosa, and binge eating disorder. They come with signs of restrictive eating, purging, and distorted body image, which can have severe physical and emotional consequences. Olfactory Reference syndrome. A psychological disorder that makes individuals retain a sense of fear that their body has a strong, foul, and offensive odor, even when there is no proof to back it up. This disorder makes individuals keep sniffing themselves and constantly avoiding social situations. Delusion. Delusion is usually associated with individuals having firmly held but false beliefs that have no stand in reality. Such individuals are often stubborn and resistant to change, even when presented with realistic evidence. Delusional individuals usually see other people's opinions as wrong and believe only they are reasoning right. Body dysmorphic disorder, or BDO. A psychological disorder that makes people believe that something about their body or physique is wrong. Meanwhile, these flaws may not exist or are unnoticeable to others. This primarily affects their self-esteem and confidence. Typical areas of focus include the hair, nose, skin, or body shape. Agoraphobia. Agoraphobia makes individuals anxious and afraid of being in situations where escape might be difficult. People with this disorder are often scared of the unknown and anticipate danger. So they avoid crowded zones or anywhere outside their comfort zone where they are sure of their safety. Borderline personality disorder, or BPD. A psychological disorder that causes instability in the mood and self-image of affected individuals. Intense mood swings, fear of being abandoned, and other impulsive behaviors are known in people with this disorder, and they can really be unpredictable and erratic. Diogenes syndrome, also known as senile squalor syndrome, is a psychological disorder responsible for hoarding objects, extreme self-neglect, and social withdrawal in individuals. Affected people are mostly old and enjoy staying in dirty and cluttered environments, neglecting personal hygiene and isolating themselves. Trichotillomania. A psychological disorder that makes people find satisfaction in pulling out their hair, be it the hair on their scalp, eyebrows, or any other part of their body. First, they feel good as they pull their hair, but begin to feel bad about it when they're done. This disorder results in severe hair loss and distress. Dissociative identity disorder, or DID, is also known as multiple personality disorder, and is known in individuals who possess two or more distinct identities or personality states. These identities often have their unique traits, thereby making such individuals confusing at times, because 1 minute they're this, and then the next minute there is a total switch. Hypochondria, previously known as illness anxiety disorder, or IAD, is responsible for the fear of having a serious medical condition despite the absence of actual evidence. Individuals with this disorder often exaggerate minor sensations in their bodies and are frequently in hospitals for checkups over every little symptom. Derealization disorder. A psychological disorder that makes affected individuals feel detached from reality. These individuals usually think that the world around them is unfamiliar and not real. You can say they constantly live in a dream, and it's so difficult for them to connect with their environment, and this often messes with their mental health. Dissociative amnesia. A severe psychological disorder where chronic forgetfulness happens to individuals. It is usually triggered by traumatic events or elevated stress, and affected individuals suffer memory loss and often forget important personal information, like their past experiences, identity, or even their names. Erotomania. This disorder is also known as the Kleptomania syndrome. It manifests in individuals holding a delusional belief that someone, usually a celebrity, is in love with them. These beliefs are often unreal, but do not stop these individuals from fantasizing and making awkward advances if they get a chance. Schizophrenia. A chronic mental disorder that affects a person's thoughts and emotions. It often comes with symptoms of hallucination, delusion, social withdrawal, and disjointed thoughts. Schizophrenic people may find it difficult to pay attention or recollect events, and also believe nobody understands them. Bipolar disorder, also known as manic depressive disorder. It is a mental condition that makes individuals express extreme mood swings that switch from mania to depression. They may feel highly energetic and euphoric for a while, and then plunge into periods of sadness and hopelessness. They can be the life of the party in a minute and the most boring person the next one. Dermatillomania. A psychological condition responsible for compulsive and repetitive picking of skin in individuals. People with this disorder often feel an irresistible urge to pick their skin whenever they are stressed or anxious, which may result in scabs, skin lesions, and scarring. Post-traumatic stress disorder, or PTSD. This is a psychological disorder that messes with the head of an individual after witnessing a traumatic event. The individual begins to experience flashbacks of the traumatic event, distressing memories, nightmares, and panic attacks. Victims of PTSD may also have difficulty concentrating and be in constant shock. Oppositional Defiance Disorder, or ODD. This is a psychological disorder commonly seen in children and adolescents. People with ODD often display traits of defiance, hostility, and rebellion towards authority figures like parents and teachers. They just find it difficult to stick to rules or be bound by any. Attention Deficit Hyperactivity Disorder, or ADHD. A psychological condition that makes it difficult for individuals to pay attention or concentrate on anything. It is mostly seen in kids, but it can also persist into adulthood. People with ADHD struggle with completing tasks or being organized, as they are mostly hyperactive and impulsive. Muchausen Syndrome. A self-imposed mental disorder where an individual intentionally fakes or exaggerates an ailment just to get the attention and sympathy of people. Individuals with this syndrome can go as far as deceiving their loved ones or even doctors by inflicting injuries on themselves or manipulating test results just to provide evidence for a false sickness. Delusional Disorder. This is a psychological disorder that makes affected individuals hold on to false beliefs that have no ground in reality. These thoughts and beliefs only make sense to the person with this disorder, but are not usually accepted by others as they may seem weird and unreal. Gender dysphoria. A psychological condition that makes an individual experience discomfort due to a mismatch between their gender identity and their assigned sex at birth. People with this disorder live their lives in fear and anxiety over their lack of alignment between their gender identity and societal expectations. Kleptomania. A disgraceful psychological disorder that entails an irresistible urge to steal items that are really not needed for personal or monetary benefits. Kleptos are often anxious and tensed before stealing, and they steal mostly to ease this tension. But never mistake a bank robber for a kleptomaniac, because most of the things kleptos steal are not even valuable to them. Pyromania. A dangerous and destructive disorder that makes individuals find pleasure in setting fires. Individuals with this disorder have an uncontrollable and compulsive urge to set things on fire or see fire burning as it fascinates and satisfies them. The sad thing is that this disorder not only affects the victim, but also puts people around them in potential danger. Gambling disorder, also known as compulsive gambling or pathological gambling. It is a psychological disorder that often has an individual glued to a problematic gambling lifestyle. It becomes impossible to stop gambling. Even when there are repeated cases of losses, they gamble more with the hope of recovering. This disorder can go as far as ruining the lives of the victims as they prioritize gambling over other aspects of life. Selective mutism. A psychological condition that renders affected individuals speechless, especially in the public. It is not that these individuals have speech impairment. They can speak in other settings but are unable to do so in public. This condition can be easily mistaken for being shy or timid, but that is really not the case. Acute stress disorder. This is a psychological disorder very similar to PTSD and also occurs after witnessing a traumatic event. It, however, differs from PTSD in the sense of duration, as it only lasts from a few days to a month. It manifests as intrusive memories, disturbing flashbacks and nightmares, anxiety, and dissociation. Somatic Symptom Disorder. This is a psychological disorder that manifests as having disturbing physical symptoms that cannot be explained medically. These symptoms may vary and have multiple body systems, but since they defy medical explanations, they lead to significant stress and difficulty living a normal life in individuals with this disorder.